So, Charles, do you want to kick off with the first question?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go straight back to our first speaker, Simon, and jump straight into, Simon, you spoke quite openly and around, investing into yourself. Cory, you did. Iain, you did as well. I think pretty much everybody has spoke about investment in some which way, shape, or form. But what would you say has been the most noticeable investment that you've made into yourself that's, helped you to become successful as an AE again at Salsify?
I think there's two core avenues I'll go. One is from an industry perspective. So yeah. I obviously understood what e-commerce was, but to the level and extent and the depth and breadth, and really what attracted me with e-commerce was that the technology is going to keep evolving around e-commerce as consumers change their habits. So from an AE in a SaaS world, that's quite interesting because you always have new opportunities and you future-proof yourself. So from an industry perspective, I think it's really crucial to understand where that information is, whether it be in podcasts, LinkedIn. And then from a sales perspective, and that's probably where I really, really double down on really understanding what makes a great salesperson. I think others touched on it, Cory, Iain as well touched on what makes a great salesperson, and is being where no one else is and understanding that. So I think learning from peers is a huge aspect to it. And I think I'm a member of the AEs of London. I joined as soon as I got the account executive role. I think that's a phenomenal information hub and kind of like trusted advisors of always recommending different books and different tactics, different podcasts, different recommendations. So there's a whole host of things. And I think what you need to do is, and it's very easy as human nature going, when I start a new job, the new job's responsibility is to train me. But in actual fact, it's your responsibility to train yourself. That's what I think really sets it apart of someone that is good and someone that then becomes great, because they're constantly looking and going, where's the next edge? How can I learn more? And particularly in SaaS, because not only is the world evolving around your industry, but also the company's constantly evolving in terms of what they do and the offering. So there's always opportunities there, and it's really never stop learning. So they're kind of two avenues. One is industry and one is SaaS selling overall in particular.
I absolutely love that. If I cast my mind back to when I first started in sales like 9-10 years ago, I was told, and it's stuck with me ever since, like, life gets better when I get better, and that's been like really, really poignant to like my whole career. Has anybody else got like other recommendations from, not just a financial investment? I want to move on to that part in just a moment, but, personal development investments that they've made that have helped them, or, the podcast, the book side of things that can just share with everybody else that's listening today as well?
Well, for myself, I'm just going to go there then. So self-investment. I talked about it in my talk about going through burnout and stuff. And obviously to get out of that, I've discovered a technique called CBT, or cognitive behavioral therapy. And I think I've had obviously my recommended sessions at the beginning to kind of overcome my own burnout and then move ahead. But afterwards, I've actually invested much more time and seeked even more sessions of CBT, other therapy forms, etc., just to invest in myself as a person, but secondly, invest in my career as well by being able, as a leader, to spot early signs in people which potentially are heading for a burnout, early signs of people which are too much under pressure, any mental signs that are maybe not clear to everyone's eyes. And I think for me as a leader, as a person, this investment has made a huge difference in myself and hopefully as well into my team.
Daniel, I absolutely love that.
Love that, yeah. Just to add a kind of a different tangent to that as well, in terms of maybe not so much like a monetary investment, but more in terms of a time investment. Networking, I think, is the one which I know it's a very probably overused word to an extent, but does take some sort of practice and some time to go actually through and actually understand and learn about people and learn from people, whether that's in person, like we hopefully can be in very soon, or whether that's just through kind of LinkedIn, for example. One of the things which I did, and I guess still do, right, is every time I come across someone of interest to me, on LinkedIn, just because they do one post that's interesting or they mention a comment that seems kind of intriguing, I note their name down and I just keep tracking them. So eventually you get a list of 20, 30, 40 people, and you can keep narrowing it down and actually focusing on the right people that are genuinely interesting. So not a monetary investment, but in terms of a time investment, I think that's helped me a lot in terms of how I've being able to choose from the right people to learn from.
That's quality. I know that some people have spoke about, in various different ways of which they've invested into themselves, maybe transitioning that question across to maybe more of the financial side of things. Becks, Warren, from what you guys are doing in the NFT space, where can some of these guys realistically be looking to invest into their financial health as well?
Well, it depends how deep diving you want to go into the NFT space. It's not going to be for everyone. I think, anyone can look at the world of cryptocurrency and kind of go, oh, it is for me or it's not for me. And, but the way we see it is we always advise people in the NFT space to only spend what you can afford to lose, right? And to enjoy what you're buying, and to do it for multiples of different reasons. We've just reviewed a project today, which people buy into this particular project because they want to support the charitable cause that's behind it. And I think that there's lots of entry points that can support the way that you want to view your financial health and wealth going forward. For us, as we've grown in this space, we've made slightly more strategic, bigger investments. That plot of land in the sandbox for us is us envisioning the future of our company, and from a personal perspective, the wealth that will generate from that, and using that in a way to kind of go, it's a big investment for us to make, and it was a lot of research and a lot of time to get into that, but ultimately the reward will be a lot higher. From a personal perspective, convincing my other half to spend a lot of money on a JPEG is not an easy story to tell, but once we've done it, we've from an investment point of view, we've done really well, and from a personal point of view, it's made us fall in love with the community even more and understand it even more. And I know, but along the way, there's been a lot of duds, right? So we've had to learn by doing, and with that, we've lost money, and we've gained money, and we've lost money again, and we've gained even more money and then lost it again. And you kind of go, it is the cycle in which you go to learn and grow in this space. So you kind of have to go into it with open eyes and open arms and understand what you're getting yourself into. I don't know, Warren, if you've got any more that you want to add to that.
Yeah, I think as well, like personally, people invest for different triggers, right? Some people are they could be, I mean, I've now been in the sales industry for kind of broadly around 15 years. And maybe what I would consider investing in, 10, 15 years ago versus now are polars apart. And also the motivations. If you've got family, for instance, are you likely to go out to a really nice gallery and get a really nice piece and put it on your wall, right? Probably we'll need a lot of stakeholders internally to get that over the line with. Could be a little bit trickier. I do know, though, that from an NFT perspective, when we are making the decisions based on what we're doing, we're looking at how much time the communities and the project leaders are investing themselves. Like, can we pick up their behavior? Can we look at, and they're the triggers for us guys. Like, are they demonstrating the expectations we would want from someone that really cares about what they're doing? Because that's the thing, right? Osmosis. If you're around good things happening, you're typically going to benefit from that, and vice versa. So yeah, like all the content we create, we always say we're not financial advisors. Never more apparent than here. But yeah, no, Charles, it's definitely been like we're big fans of, if you're going to do something, you lead by example, and that's no different from leadership in business. That's no different from being on a football pitch or being with friends that are kind of making a key decision, right? Everyone needs to buy into that together. So yeah, it's good also working with Becks. It's great having someone else that I can kind of bounce. And I think as a leader or anyone in business place, if you've got people that are like-minded, get different perspectives. That's always a healthy thing for, The
biggest thing that I would just say, just to round what we were talking about off, is you don't look at NFTs in any other way than you'd look at investing in a business. We are all, if there's 10,000 NFTs available and maybe 5,000 people buy into those NFTs because some people buy more than one, or they buy, 3 or 4 or whatever, you're essentially a shareholder in a business, and that NFT is the business that you're investing in. So they have a responsibility to deliver to you as the shareholder everything that they're saying on their roadmaps that they're going to deliver in. And that's what, that's what drives us to know which are the good investments and which aren't. And I think if you look at it like that, where a lot of people look at it as just a quick flip or something like that, it's an unhealthy way to look at things. It's actually got to look at things in a more of a long-term hold in this digital space, because because we are still so early and the opportunity is actually so great. So again, it all comes down to, as Warren said, your perspective, your responsibilities in the real world, and what you're willing to do to get yourself into the digital world.
I see a lot of similarities there to like sales in general, right? You said, you win some, you lose some. We've all chased deals, we've all lost deals. We thought we were going to get them. We've been in for a penny, we've been in for a pound, and from that perspective, and you've definitely got to be involved in it in order to get that. And I think that comes from an activity, a research and investment of time to know and understand that. Just like Iain was talking about, from nurturing champions throughout his process and breaking it down. I'm guessing you guys probably apply a similar science to the investment world of knowing what you're tracking when, and then making those key decisions from that perspective, right?
I think Charles kind of pick up on that point, like the big benefit, and I'm going to associate the word benefit with COVID, which is quite unique. The big benefit that I had is that I couldn't leave the house, right? And with an 8-year-old, I will put my hand up and say that was still very, very difficult. But not being able to have school and access and that kind of outlet. And never before has mental health been more appropriate than literally being confined to your 4 walls like for a good 12 months. But for when COVID hit, and Becks and I were talking about our direction and how we want to really kind of create this, what we see as a first. We knew the time that around the investment of research and the investment of understanding the detail. Also, any kind of standard business, your business strategy, your SWOT analysis, like what makes you different. If you're a salesperson selling the product, well, the first rule is know how you stand out. And it's always going to be a really key way on kind of getting your message across, because whether you're picking a phone up, whether you're knocking the door, whether you're seeing someone at an event, people need to remember you. And we know that we need to be acknowledged and perceived as innovators, trailblazers, people that are pushing this narrative forward. That's why opportunities like this are great, because it gives us an opportunity to bring necessarily not people that aren't, let's say, the most crypto savvy, because also we don't really enjoy cryptocurrency. And I don't know if that was a perception on the call, but I think it's important to talk about. We love the NFT explosion and the direction and the benefit that Web3 can give. An example, 2 days ago, we didn't travel to Australia, but we went to the Australian Open. You see, we went there through Decentraland, which is a metaverse. We went there, we experienced the brands, we saw Ralph Lauren's shop, we managed to take part in some activity. You see, that's where the barriers break and the opportunities explode, because you can leave your house without leaving your house, and you can change your reality without changing your reality. There's so much newness to this that we absolutely need to be in environments like this. James was great to bring us into so we can talk about what's happening.
Love it. Guys, I'm just going to, I know there could be loads more questions. I'm going to draw a line under it for this afternoon, because I want to get into the networking and get people in the audience to actually come and speak to you individually. So the speakers, round of applause to all the speakers. Thank you very much for contributing to today's event. These aren't possible without your contribution, and I really value the time that you've invested in preparing and delivering your talks today. Just to let everybody know that you can get access to Sales Confidence content on the Sales Confidence YouTube channel, and also on any podcast platform. You'll start to be able to listen back to the 7-minute talks as you go about your day or you're exercising, which is cool. And also we've got a membership which is free to use, which is a structured pathway to your career success, which you can access at salesconfidence.com. So that's it for now. We're going to head into the networking. So for the speakers, if you just want to head back into the place that you registered, there's a link in the private chat here on the right, and I'm going to stop the broadcast. But thank you for everybody for listening in today. And thank you, speakers.
Thank you, James. Thank you, Charles.
Thank you.